Welcome to the Week 8 edition of the Rebel Run Sports Show on RebelRunSports.com. I'm John Moore, joined as always with Rob G. and Papa. Another crazy week. We'll get you started up for Champ High School.
Man, so Champ played Dominion. It's Champ's homecoming. Dominion's coming in there. Dominion, I think they were 4-2 coming in. I want to get to the best part of the game, but let me just start from the beginning there. Dominion has a student section called the D Block, which I think is an awesome name for them. They didn't represent it all there.
Oh.
There was no one there at the beginning of the game.
I want to start badgering these students.
I know, man. And it was, you know, we talked about it afterwards.
Right.
It was pretty cold then.
Oh, for sure. The coach have on no socks?
Of course, man. You know, Dawson, he's out there in khakis, a short sleeve shirt, which I don't, okay. He's a tougher man than I am.
Yeah.
But the game gets going. It's a little back and forth in the beginning, and then, man, Dominion kind of takes control. Obviously, the Champ comes out and starts off the game. Everybody's expecting the ball to go to Carl Garman III.
Right.
That's what happens all the time, but they pitch it out to him. He throws a halfback pass down to Brandon McCaffrey.
Yeah.
Catches a long touchdown. It's a good trick play to get them on the board early. Dominion then just kind of takes control. They've got a dude that plays quarterback. The hype is real about this dude.
Yeah.
Vashawn McCants he's electric. I mean, he's electric. Watching him, it's impossible to corral him. He pretty much did whatever he wanted to. If you were going to come in from the sides at him, he's going to make you look bad and move around.
Right.
He didn't just run to get yards, but he ran to extend the play and throw the ball down the field. I mean, he did a terrific job of it. Every time that he got pressured, he got out of it and made a play downfield. He threw, I think it was 3 touchdowns to George Richardson, number 10, big dude. Talked to him on the sideline.
Yeah.
Like he's looking for shots of himself catching touchdowns, that's for sure.
I love that.
Yeah, as a man who spent way more time in the mirror than I should, I'm a fan of that.
Absolutely.
But he was terrific in that game. But really, I mean, they kind of ate up one side of that secondary for Champ, and it was pretty good. Champ starts kind of battling back. They come down, get a score. They're within 6. Make a big stop on 4th down. There's a corner that plays number 2. Got no issues with that guy whatsoever. He makes a big play on 4th down in the end zone to stop a drive for Dominion. Do you think Champ's getting some momentum? Can't really put it in the end zone. Dominion takes over, scores again, and goes up. They end up winning 32-18, but man, Vashawn McCants, I'm telling you, that guy is incredibly fun to watch.
Yeah.
He was on the side. I was on the Dominion sideline for a while. He was over there every time he came off the field, which isn't much because
Right.
he plays corner too. But every time he came off the field, man, he was letting his team know, we're going to take it now. We're going to get it now. He was hyped up.
Very cool.
He was hyped up. It was a good game, but the D Block, you all need to do better than that. I mean,
Come on, people. You can't have that cool of a name and not show out.
No, thank goodness for the Dominion parents. They were there. They were there giving support, singing the "We Are the Titans" song. Yeah. It was awesome. But yeah, 32-18 Dominion. Go watch Vashawn McCants. He is well worth the price of admission.
Nice. Well, Rob, I was in Reston for South Lakes Madison. Game that had all the hype. Both teams coming in at 6-0. Last year's game, it was one-sided. Madison blows out South Lakes, so South Lakes had revenge on their minds for a lot of reasons. Student sections, both sides represented. So Madison ended up on the short end of a 21-13 game, but this game had it all. Defense really set the tone in the beginning. Both teams started off offensive possessions with turnovers, back-to-back turnovers. Spencer Austin got the scoring going early. They jumped out 21-7. Madison ends up battling back. Nikinto with a touchdown late, 21-13. But this game was marred by the defense. South Lakes with a epic 4-down stoppage at the goal line, which will be talked about in South Lake's lore for years to come. I mean, this crowd was insane during that, and you'll be able to watch it on the highlights. South Lake's quarterback Devin Miles, 14 out of 21, 232 yards. He really controlled the tempo. They're used to scoring a lot of points. They knew it wasn't going to be that kind of night. Madison's given up 9 points a game on the year, so to put up 21 against the Warhawks defense was impressive in itself. But again, Spencer Austin, 12 carries, 59 yards, 2 touchdowns. One guy I want to highlight, Andrew Funaki. So this kid is South Lakes. I saw him play a couple weeks ago, and I didn't see his number called one time. His number was called more than anybody in that game. 2 first-quarter interceptions. I don't know how many catches he had, but it seemed like whether it was a tackle or a reception, Andrew Funaki's name was being talked about. So after the game, I talked to Coach Trey Taylor and Spencer Austin. So let's have a listen.
Now, Spencer Austin, congratulations, man. That's a heck of a game. Talk about it.
Thank you. I mean, this whole week, we remember the blowout loss last year. All the guys coming back knew what we had to do to prepare for this game, the mentality we had to have. But I think it's Coach Taylor. He's the building block of things. He's the core part. He just stresses us. It's another game. It's another 48 minutes. It's another week. We have to go 1-0. And I think he really puts that into our heads. And I think we knew we could do it. We just had to execute.
Sure.
Thank you.
Coach, congratulations. That's a huge win against a really good football team.
Absolutely.
Talk about it.
I can't give them enough credit. I mean, they gave us everything we wanted the whole game. They never quit, scoring a touchdown at the end. And I didn't, we made some plays there at the end to be able to hang on to the ball, but I didn't want to give them another chance to score because the way that passing game works and those receivers, I knew they can score in one play.
Talk about that goal line stand down there.
It was incredible. It was, we're kind of a spread team, but we run the ball a lot, but we kind of take pride in trying to stop the run. And for us to be able to do that to them, I think says a lot about where we're playing up front and our linebackers and just kind of the front 7 guys in general.
Spencer played another great game, but I watched this game and I saw this kid, Andrew Funaki. He's all over the field. Talk about him a little bit.
He is. He's like the little Tasmanian devil. Like I told the other guys, he's offense, defense, and 5 special teams. I mean, he's the holder and extra point. I mean, he does everything, and he's incredible. He was our JV quarterback last year. Didn't get much varsity playing time, and this year he's the superstar of the team. And I think it just says something about how hard he worked in the offseason and how much he wants to make his senior season special.
What's this game mean to the program?
I think it's huge. I think it's definitely the biggest game we've won since I've been here. Early this year, Briarwoods was a big one, but to beat an undefeated team that has beaten teams like they've had, and to know they beat Stonebridge and the guys that they have beaten, I think gives our kids more confidence moving forward that we can go out there and we can play with pretty much anybody.
Coach, we'll let you go celebrate.
Once again, great interview, Coach Trey Taylor. Gracious in victory. There's something special going on out in Reston this year. Those kids are really all bought in and a really talented group. And then my man David Kroll. Okay, we talked about him a couple weeks ago. 6'7", 325. This kid doesn't come off the field. 6'7", 325. He plays both ways the whole game, and he's the safety blocker on the punt team.
You see why?
Kickoff and kickoff returns are his only break. But this kid dominated, and he was an integral part of that big 4th down stoppage down there on the goal line. So, David Kroll, keep doing what you're doing.
Well, we've been told that he's the best offensive lineman in the region.
I have no argument against that. No argument.
And I'm telling you, I think Devin Miles is underrated.
Yeah.
And I think he really, he controls that offense.
He does.
Good. And in an offense where you got 2 running backs like that, they take away a little bit of the shine and attention.
And Mensa, he's a converted lineman.
Really?
He's a converted lineman playing running back over there.
That's why he looks so diesel when he's coming down the field.
He's a big kid.
All right.
So, South Lakes is 7-0. That was the one checked off on the schedule where everyone said if, a loss was coming, it would be there. So, congratulations to them. So,
absolutely.
Moving on, Marshall and Lee.
Yeah, well, we had somebody out at Marshall or at Lee covering that game, and the records didn't look good going in. I mean, it was Lee had won 1 game going in, Marshall had won 2.
Right.
But Lee, we've talked about these 2 guys before, but they got those twin brothers.
That's right.
Craig and Kevin Hamilton, who, they're terrific. They're a lot of fun to watch. They're both athletic, and they have a good connection throwing the ball down the field.
Right.
But DeJuan James for Lee has 18 carries, 140 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Craig Hamilton goes 17 of 28 for 226 and 3 touchdowns.
And we owe those kids an interview. We're coming out there.
Yeah, man.
Mr. Morency at Lee High School, we have not forgotten.
No, and we've talked to Lori Barb a bunch, the director of student activities down there, and she raves about those two. But Kevin Hamilton comes out with 5 catches, 95 yards, and a touchdown. They pretty much controlled that game throughout. Marshall had a couple of good runs in there. They had a couple of long plays in there, but Lee came out on top. They're 2-5, but I'm telling you, those two guys make Lee incredible.
Talented, yeah.
They are, and like I said, Craig Hamilton, man, he had a run in that game where if they look like they had him bottled up on one side of the field. He completely reverses field and goes down and scores. He almost scores. He gets knocked out. I mean, he got hit pretty hard before he got into the end zone. But, man, that dude is
fun to watch.
Yeah, watch out.
All right, Rob, let's go through some other scores from around the region.
Yeah, I mean there was Briarwoods comes out. I picked them last week. And Ben Maffey comes out for 22 carries, 200 yards, and 2 touchdowns. They almost pull out the upset, but they end up losing to Potomac Falls 17-14. I should probably spend a little more time talking about Potomac Falls in that game.
We should probably spend a little more time talking about our picks and how we're doing.
Shut up. So Chantilly beats Oakton 27-23. Tuscarora, your guys, man, they're on a roll. They went from 1-3 to 5-3 in a hurry.
Man, they're the most dangerous team in the region right now.
I'm telling you, 41-6. Actually, their quarterback Justin Allen had a great stat line. There's no way that this is accurate. There's no way. It was 5 for 5 for 77 yards and 3 touchdowns. There's no way that that's true, but if it is, toast to you.
It sounds like my first quarter stats in Madden against my 6-year-old.
Well, yeah, I don't believe that either. And Woodgrove continues to roll. Man, those guys, I'm telling you, people better be glad that they're not 5A or 6A because they roll up on some people quick. They're 7-0 right now. They won 56-22 over Heritage. I can't say enough about their quarterback, Mike Kovich. He's 8 for 12 for 171 yards and 2 touchdowns. And he's also 10 carries for 62 yards and 3 touchdowns on the ground. So, he's putting up video game numbers. They're on a roll right now. Lake Braddock goes to Woodson, 44-0. I'm not even going to talk about that dude and those guys in the backfield. I refuse to talk about the Lake Braddock team again this week. You could just highlight those guys every week.
This could be the Lake Braddock sports show, let's be honest.
Basically, they're terrific, man. And then Patriot pulls out a win over Stonewall Jackson, 33-28. Robinson and Westfield play a nail biter there. It's 29-28 Westfield. That was our 5 for 5.
Who picked who?
I picked Westfield. What do you mean, who picked who?
I picked against Westfield.
You did.
I had a fever last week.
Yeah, see, shady memory. South County, 56-17 over Mount Vernon. Jack McDaniels, I refuse to talk about him either. Jack McDaniels, I refuse to talk about him again. He is lighting up the region right now.
Yeah.
That dude is...
Tough streak for Mount Vernon.
Man, yeah. It's a tough schedule.
Yeah, it's a tough schedule.
You could say that about a lot of teams.
Sure.
Fairfax County is terrific.
Yeah.
Going with football, but Stewart gets another win, 28-14 over Wakefield. And Broad Run beats Stonebridge 10-7. Just when everybody's like, Stonebridge is the best around. Yeah, they come out. One more 5 for 5 that we had last week. West Potomac 46-21 over Annandale.
Okay. Annandale, there should be a petition going on right now at Annandale High School for me to attend the rest of your football games this year. Because that's when they show up, when I'm there.
There should. But the last game we want to talk about, I'm telling you, people keep sleeping on Hayfield. Better watch out. They're 6-1. They lost a 50-46 game to South County. That was their only loss this year. Man, Hayfield is on a roll. 42-21 over Langley. They come out, their first score, they go down, or they go up with a 90-yard kickoff return. And then Langley comes right back, scores at 7-7. Brian Cobbs catches an 84-yard touchdown.
They got some talented wideouts here.
Let me tell you something, man. And it wasn't an 84-yard pass.
Right.
That dude does a better job of anybody I've seen this year of taking a short pass and turning it into something huge. When he's in the open field, just get out the way.
Yeah.
If you watch this, I was looking at his huddle. He was watching the highlight. He blows past people.
Yeah,
I mean, he goes down the sideline and blows past people. But Jacob Keeney, their quarterback, this dude, literally, if there was a Heisman or an MVP, this guy would be like leading he'd be the Lamar Jackson right now. He's got 22 of 32 for 313 yards and 2 touchdowns. Then he has 14 carries for 110 yards and 3 touchdowns. Brian Cobbs comes out with 7 catches for 130 yards and 2 touchdowns. They also have a dude named Nick Genovese that I like to watch too. You know, I mean, obviously he's an Italian dude. So
you got the pronunciation right, I'm sure.
I better. 7 catches for 92 yards. He's a good wideout too. To have them two back and forth, it's tough to cover Hayfield for any amount of time. But we went out to Hayfield this week. I had a chance to go ahead and sit down with Brian Cobbs, the truth. Take a look. How you doing, Brian?
Pretty good. How about yourself?
Doing well, doing well. Let's start off with your team and how you guys are doing this year. You're 5-1. You guys are having a great season. You had a close loss to South County. I mean, that was a shootout. How's the season been going for you guys so far?
I mean, just been picking up the intensity since the off season. Our coach he doesn't want us to be one of those teams once the middle of the season starts to just drop off. He wants us always, every day in practice, just keep increasing and stuff like that. So then by the time playoffs come, we have no drop offs or anything, and we can compete with any team we face. So we've been doing.
All right. Well, you guys are high flying. You like to throw it around a lot. How much easier does Jacob Keeney make your job?
Really easy, because I mean, the biggest thing for me is just getting open, and then once I get that part, he delivers the ball wherever I am in always a good spot. So I think since the offseason, through all the 7-on-7 and stuff, our chemistry has just been 100% better since last year. And I mean, when you got a quarterback that he scrambles, and then I'll just get open space, and he finds me all the time. So you gotta love that.
You're easy to find on the field.
Yeah.
Let's face it. How much work do the two of you do together? Aside from 7-on-7, how much?
Probably in the summer it was every day at least. We would throw outside on the field probably for about 2 hours, and then Coach Henderson's son would come and he would teach Jake different steps and stuff that he's learned on the collegiate level. And then we would be lifting together with other players to get our whole offense just in sync. And then we'd go to lunch together, just get our chemistry good. So probably the whole summer, every day. So.
All right, good. Well, you guys did a lot of 7-on-7 over the summer?
Yeah, a lot. Probably 10 plus tournaments, yeah.
How much did that help you going into this year?
Just a lot, because you see a lot of different looks depending on, we would go to Virginia Beach, up north, we would see different teams and stuff like that, different types of players, different athletes and stuff. So it kind of gave me time to like see what moves work against certain people and stuff, and just learn how the different players play. So then by that time when I get on the field and we play these teams, everybody's pretty much the same over here, and it just makes my game a whole lot easier. So.
Now, some coaches don't like 7-on-7. How much does Coach Henderson like it?
He loves it, because I mean, we know you're not getting tackled or anything. It's a different game when you put the pads on and stuff. But I mean, when you get to the point with when your quarterback's in sync, getting the timing right and stuff like that, it just makes, when we put the pads on, timing's a whole lot easier. We don't have to spend so much more time on the passing game because everybody got everything down pat. So.
Right. Well, I'm sure he does love it because you got to throw it around. So it's good for him. How much do you follow? Are there other receivers in the area that you follow? I mean, we talked a little bit before about Dylan Spalding. But, are there other guys that you follow that you kind of compare yourself with and see where you are in the year?
Probably Dylan, and then I met one kid at the Nike opening, Kayvon Chase, at Potomac Falls. Right. So I've always been looking at his highlights and stuff and seeing how he's doing. So probably us three, I've just been going back and forth with us and just seeing how I'm comparing with them. So.
Okay. What is it about this area? I mean, from you here at Hayfield, Dylan at South County, and then Daniel Ledoux over at West Springfield, between that three, I mean, what is it about receivers in this area?
I mean, we just love that work, that's the biggest thing. I mean, always competing with teams here. We know that if you can throw the ball, you can score a lot of points on these teams out here, so that's one thing that we just always been stressing.
All right. So outside of practice, how much training do you put in to your receiver work?
Probably every other day, I'd say at least. Once we get into the season, I will stay after with my coach. We always do running after practice, and then I'll work with Jake throwing routes and stuff like that. But then once 2-a-days hit, but we would come out early before practice, do routes, and after practice we would probably stay an extra 30 minutes just working on different types of deep balls, and then different like timing routes like comebacks and stuff like that. So.
Now, do you do any like Do you do any work with a trainer or anything like that outside?
Coach Justin Kavanaugh and Chantilly, I would go out with him. He would just work on overall athleticism and stuff like that, quickness, speed, strength. And then I went over with a couple players. Jake didn't get a chance to go over there. But then, other than that, not really receiver training. I'll just be here with Coach Henderson.
Okay, excellent. How you play basketball as well?
Also, yeah.
What is it about, like, what translates from basketball to playing receiver?
Probably a lot of different lateral movements and stuff like that, getting open. If it's like a jump ball or something, kind of like in that boxing out technique. So that's helped me a lot. And just always finding the ball, like jumping up in the air over top of people, getting the ball, just like boxing out, getting a rebound in basketball. So
okay. Well, receivers come in all different shapes and sizes and they do different things. I mean, we've seen Spalding, he goes big down the field. Adu goes big down the field. You seem to be able to catch the ball in space and take it the length of the field. What do you feel that you do best?
Probably just making plays after the catch. I mean, last year I kind of was disappointed in myself watching film from like this year to last year. I could have made a lot more bigger plays. Like I would catch the ball and then get tackled. And then this year I can catch the ball, break a tackle, and get like 20 plus yards on it. So that's one thing I've been stressing this whole year.
Well, I saw you take an interception about 50 yards. You don't do bad with that either, right? Who's next on the schedule?
Langley. We got out there in Tyson. So.
Okay.
And then another big game, South Lakes. That'll probably be the biggest test. And then Madison for our senior night here.
Man, it's a tough stretch coming up.
Yeah.
What is your focus? What is the team's focus in these next couple of games?
Langley, just perfect our craft, just keep scoring a lot of points on them, and even though we know that we can get the job done, we can't kind of settle for that. We just always got to keep our game going up and get ready because we're preparing for South Lake. This whole stretch after South County has been for South Lake, so we got to take it to them when we get there. And then Madison just finished up the season strong and hopefully get that district championship.
There you go. The truth will set you free. Brian Cobbs, Hayfield High School. Yeah, man. That guy is, I mean, obviously terrific to talk to. Unbelievable on the field. That guy's got a bright future. He's only a junior. I think he was down at UVA for a game last week. We talked about UVA a little bit last week on the Spartan Spotlight. They need to go ahead and make an offer to that dude because he's going to be getting plenty soon.
UVA should be at every Northern Virginia high school football game trying to rebuild their program right now.
Of course they should. Are you kidding me?
And Virginia Tech, after what happened in Syracuse, you should too.
Yeah, you know what? And they got Lamont Atkins, but they need to go ahead and stock up in Northern Virginia, man.
Yeah, I'm trying to help you.
Basically, and that's not good for your marriage either.
It's not moving on 5 for 5.
Yeah. Annandale, South County.
Okay. They're on my potential list of games to attend. If I'm there, and Annandale, you may have control over this, I will take Annandale if I'm there.
Yeah, I got no caveats. I'm taking South County. Again, I refuse to talk about Jack McDaniels anymore this week, but yeah, I'm going with that guy. And man, I talked about Solomon Sameh before the year. That dude just continues to make me look good. Shout out to him. I like him. Centerville at Westfield. That's a big, that's a classic rivalry game there.
That's a huge game.
Yeah.
Another game that I might be there. Oh, man.
You could probably say that about 15 games on the schedule that you'll be there.
This is a game that if we were picking it last year, I would pick Westfield in a heartbeat, but I would think it'd be a mid to high scoring game. I could see this game being another one of those 10-7 low scoring games. And since it only took me 1 week to learn my lesson, I am taking Westfield.
Good. I'm going with Centerville.
Yeah?
I'm going with Centerville. Obviously, love Coach Simmons out there at Westfield. I think that guy he's an unbelievable coach.
Oh, he's legit, yeah.
But Centerville, man, I'm going with that. That defense is ridiculous. And Isaiah Culver, I'm not going against him.
No. I feel a Twitter poll coming on.
I see it. But you just throw it up to him a couple of times in that game, please. I
Yeah.
just want to see the highlight. A good Prince William County game. Well, Freedom Woodbridge against Forest Park. I'll tell you right now, I ain't picking against Freedom. They had a tough game this week against Riverbend. Riverbend is really good, but I'm going to take Freedom. Shout out to Taekwon Brown. Just got his first offer. He's a sophomore. He just got his first offer from Maryland.
Wow, congratulations.
Yeah.
That's big time. Man.
Yeah, that's
big time.
Yeah, you're doing pretty well if you're a sophomore and you're getting offers from Maryland. Yeah.
So congratulations to you. I'm taking Forest Park.
Lake Braddock at West Springfield. Cannot believe it's the biggest shock of the year that West Springfield is 1-6 at this point.
Listen, this is what I want to do. They have too much talent at West Springfield. Too much heart and grit. We know those kids, and we know their coach. At some point this season, they're going to pull off their game of the season because they deserve it. So I'm taking West Springfield this week to beat Lake Braddock.
I love Coach Eldridge. You know, Daniel Adu is among, you're hard pressed to find a guy that's more my favorite than him.
Right.
But I got to go with Lake Braddock.
No, this is West Springfield's Super Bowl this year.
Okay.
West Springfield is going to win this football game.
I'm taking Lake Braddock. I'm taking Lamont Atkins. Mansoray, good luck catching him. I'm going with Lake Braddock. All right. And the Barricade, their hype squad, their Barricade. Shout out to Andrew Kim. He shoots a lot of stuff for us out at Lake Braddock.
West Springfield, your student section better show up. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, you know they will. You know they will.
Better show up.
Last one we got. This could be a really good game, man. Woodson at Mount Vernon.
Okay.
I'm torn because I like Woodson a lot. Love Coach Doc. That dude's coached in all 3 counties, which I think that's pretty awesome. Yeah. But JoJo Heisley, love that guy a lot. But Mount Vernon, man, Coach Monty Fritz coming off a couple of tough games. Yeah. I think that guy's going to have them fired up going into that game.
No way he loses 3 games in a row.
Tim Heltel's going to go out slinging that thing.
I think we'll agree on this one game this week. I think Mount Vernon wins that game. Unless you're not taking Mount Vernon.
Torn. Yeah, I'm taking Mount Vernon.
All right.
I'm taking Mount Vernon.
Rob, a couple top performers from this week.
A couple, we got, we talked about it earlier. Jacob Keeney, 22 of 32, 313 yards, 2 touchdowns. Also 110 yards on the ground and 3 touchdowns. And him and Brian Cobbs. Brian Cobbs comes 7 catches for 130 yards and 2 touchdowns. I call those guys the new lethal weapon.
Nice.
But Ben Maffey in a loss comes out 22 carries, 200 yards, 2 touchdowns. Not bad for a receiver.
Not bad.
And the player of the week though has got to be DeQuandre Marshall. 18 carries, 235 yards, and 3 touchdowns.
Yeah.
In the first half.
It's insane.
Yeah. So that's
very good. Very good.
What else can you say?
Nothing else to say.
If you can do that in the first half,
right,
you are getting it done.
Well, thanks for joining us again this evening. Another episode of the Rubber Run Sports Show. I'm John Moore, Rob Giampapa. You can see us on Comcast Local, Prince William Channel 2, out in Reston. Go Seahawks, Channel 28. And we leave you with our top play.
This week's top play comes to us from Dominion's quarterback, Vashawn McCants. This man hits the X button and jukes about 15 people en route to a long touchdown run. If you have a top play, please send them to us at highlights@rebelrunsports.com. Thank you and have